Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Thanks for joining. I'm your host, the Duncan Dad. This is one more quarter. Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween to everyone. Bobby Pickett, Monster Mash 1962. We don't own the rights, but we like the music, we like to share it, like everybody hear it. It's fun. It's one of those songs that, like, when you were a kid, you waited for that to come on, right? Especially around this time of year. It's like, oh, when's the Monster Mash coming on? What's the Monster Mash? What's it gonna be? Little furry today. The kids are doing a Harry Potter themed Halloween little trio, and so we've got Harry, uh, Hermione the girl, and I'm gonna get this name wrong for the Harry's owl. Hedwig? No, not Ron. Yeah, I know. My proof. Exactly. I've got. Listen, you know, I wasn't gonna say anything about that. I thought we moved past it. We're better, but I do have a little thing here. We're going through that. Uh, I'll actually be going side to side. So we're gonna walk the neighborhood. This is the plan. Oh, Hedwig. Hedwig. I think that's the little owl or whatever. That is Harry Potter's the messenger owl or something like that. So it's kind of cool. I mean, I don't bring up pictures of the kids often, but they sent me one the other day from when they were at, and I guess we can put it out just for like in perpetuity forever. But they're kind of cute. That was cute. They did so much, right? So like I remember as a kid, unless you played like little league baseball, and I feel like look, I love the Phillies to death. World Series game tonight. I'm gonna keep it on a second. Everybody see it, but my head is like burning up. Hold on a second. There we go. Woo. Now I can. Now my head can breathe for a minute. It's like Frankenstein. Yeah. So like I remember when we were a kid, right? You had like one or two things that you had or that you were involved in. Aside from that, unless you played like little league baseball, unless you were like a Boy Scout. I mean, I think we did Halloween at school 2 points. I guess I can't really say all that, but this last like couple days have just been so stinking busy with these kid things that they had. And I'm not complaining whatsoever because for an adult, I mean, you just go and just do stuff, right? I mean, just get a cup of coffee, get a soda, get a Wawa, do whatever you want to do, and you're running away. But they're kids, right? We had activity orange and black day at school, so they couldn't wear their costumes. That's fine. Over the weekend, though, they had a fall fest, Storybook Land, like event trick or treat kind of thing, a Girl Scout parade, and then prior to that, they had like another little neighborhood little thing. I'm just like, God, it's like all these things and costume. And of course, like our parents are like, you wear your costume once, don't mess it up. We're not paying for anything else, blah, 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 blah. Of course, we had like the hard shell, Brian knows, like we had the hard shell, like plastic mask that like it would cut the sides of your face. You took it off too quick and had that silly string. You used to have a birthday hats like strapped on their back. So you just sweating profusely and like basically wearing like a plastic bag that kind of had like a print on it, whatever. It was like He-Man and Superman. But good for them. They're gonna have a good time with it. And I guess the brief little conversation stuff for today. And we keep talking about people and friends and places, whatnot. And you always have like I don't know. There's like for me, there's always like two people when it comes to Halloween. The dry sockets or yeah, dude, my gosh, like Steven, like so they had these masks that you could put on, right? And I'm sure you've seen them in like the costume stores, whatever. But it wasn't like even the rubber one. It was like the hard. I don't know what the word. It's like the shell. It's like a shell. They just keep printing. Anyway, like the edges that were cut out, like around the eyes by the nose, where you have like the two little holes, and then around the ears. Dude, that stuff would like scratch and cut you because all night you're walking away like trick or treat, trick or treat, trick or treat, like oh who is that? Who is that? And it's like it's up down, it's up down, it's up down, and you're like scraping and cutting. By the time you get home, looks like you got beat up. All you want to sit down is get to your candy. And of course, everybody's like, "Oh, candy nowadays, got to be careful. They're slipping drugs in." Maybe I don't know. I'm gonna keep an eyeball for it. I mean, for us, we were worried about there was like they're putting razor blades in the apples. Don't eat somebody's homemade popcorn balls that they would give to you. And there's always like okay, so there's two types of Halloween people, and then there's two types of people who like give out. So like we're just gonna take the people who the get off my lawn people, and we're just gonna put them over there. The effing mask break it through your pillowcase. Yeah, exactly. That's it. That's all you're doing. And like it gets to a point, like you're about like, on that cusp, like 9, 10, 11 years old. It's like you want to go, you don't want to go. What are you gonna wear? And just like I got this onesie that's like hanging around forever. I might wear it Christmas morning, I might wear it Easter. I'm just throw this thing on. You take like a little bit of like your mom's makeup or something. You give yourself like big eyelashes. You give yourself whiskers. Like, oh, I'm a cat. What kind of cat? I don't know. I'm like a pumpkin cat or a Santa Claus cat or something. I was like, oh, it's amazing. It's wonderful. Get those people, right? And then you have the individuals who are like totally committed. Like they start prepping for this shit like right after Labor Day. It's like you could see them out there when they're like doing their fall cleanup. Either, doesn't matter where you're at, right? It's like, hey, making space, making space. Why are you making space? Because they're bringing out like this homemade wooden coffin that has like, PVC like shooters that come out with the dry ice and the smoke starts rising up and they're sitting there playing with their little speakers. I was like, a little too far. It's like Christmas, kind of. Go a little excessive. I know guys, girls are like Griswolds, but people sometimes are like they live and die for Halloween, right? It's like every year it gets more grand, right? Instead of it being like oh, we added a light, we added an inflatable. It's like no, 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 no. This year we actually got like a live, living, like Leatherface Texas Chainsaw Massacre scene, and it squirts out this like food coloring water, totally nuts. It's like as you walk around, what happens? Your kids inevitably cousins, whatever, they're always like, check out that house. And they're all looking at you. Like, you gonna do that? You gonna do that? And I'm like, oh, let's just appreciate them. Let's just see what they have. That's just nice. Blah blah. We do this for this one. Like this is a little better. But kudos to the people that do it. Because number one, I never got into like horror stuff. I I know maybe Brian, the same thing for either for what we did. Like I saw enough in real life. I didn't need to like have it pretend out in front of me. It wasn't really something that was like, oh yeah, let's go ahead and let's get as gory as we want to be. If that's your thing, dude, embrace it. Go all day with it. Highest heavens, lowest lows, whatever you guys want to do. Knock yourselves out. But it's like on the pantheon of holidays where everybody's like, what do you like? What don't you like? You can do this, blah blah blah. And I'm like, like I'm not saying I could do without Halloween, but it, for kids, amazing and great. They love it. Would I miss it personally? Probably not. I mean, I did my fair share of trick or treating, but I think as soon as I got to the point where, and it's different nowadays, right? It's different because like when we did trick or treating, and get off my lawn, Mike. Um, we just like our neighborhood was huge. It was huge. It was like Brian knows. It's like one way streets, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. And you just make this grid, and you just go to town. And you pick somebody's house. It's like, all right, his house is up here at the end. Your house is in the center. Bathroom break. Drop your candy off. It was safe at Tony's house. It was safe at Joe's house. Loop back around. Get your stuff. Keep going. But like in like the suburb neighborhoods, not that I'm anything against the suburb neighborhoods, but they are. It's like very particular. That's like big little winding streets and the cul-de-sacs, and like not that you're not traveling the same distance when you're walking it on a grid in the city as opposed to like someplace out. But man, it's so much more walking. It's like so much more walking. Like the easements are like 30 feet to get to some of these houses, and I joke about busting people in and stuff like that. Yeah, okay, I get it. But man, like some of these individuals are like so particular about like lawns during the regular part of the year. Now it's like a billion kids in the neighborhood, all walking in, all walking overnight. I know it's one night. I know it's one night. But there's people out there. It's like, no, get off the lawn, wipe away from the wires, don't touch this, get away from that. Da, 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 da. I took the kids, uh, girlfriend's kids out, and we were walking neighborhood, and oh, like again, like spectacular, full on display, lights, animatronics, all this crap. Other houses, like my mom did like those little wax figure things you put in the window, stayed in the sun too long, it started to melt kind of thing. Um, and that was like, okay, that's all. That's all you got. We walked around with like the formed like little pumpkins. We filled that bad boy up, dump them out. But yeah, it's Halloween's nice, man. It's fun. They get to get out there and run around. Like I said, they're all doing the Harry Potter thing. I was trying to do, yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, right? It's like it's a lot of walking. It's a lot of walking. And again, like adult threshold with walking, like you can tell yourself, all right, we're gonna walk this whole neighborhood. We're gonna walk a decent amount of this neighborhood. So by the time you're done, and you look at your Fitbit or you look at your, watch, whatever it is, and you're like, oh shit. And I walked like, 6.5 miles by the time this is all done. Or you walk like 5 miles because even though it's like a quarter mile like this, like it's a quarter mile there, a quarter mile back, over here, da 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 da. So anyway, um, yeah, so it's a lot of walking on little kids. And then at some point it's like, oh, I'm tired. Carry me, pull me around. So I still use like the wagon. They're like they're right on the cusp of like, can you be on the wagon? Can you not be on the wagon? I'm like, all right, one older kid, that's fine. Two little ones, okay. Can't do the mix, but they go and they go and they go and they have a good time. They love it. Um, but the point that I'm going today with Halloween and having the two types of people for, like, there's people that get hand out candy, have a good time, blah blah blah. There's people that go all in, have a good time. Just like in life, it is. Yeah, I know it was great. Yeah, exactly. I- so one of the guys in the chat, he has a very similar um, growing up in the same area kind of thing. So like when in Northeast Philly, Southwest Philly, like you have a lot of these row homes. So essentially, like I'd say like 80% of the time, you could walk them, just hit almost like every house. Yeah, you get 10, 15 houses in a row. One person got the light off. Da, da, da. That's another thing. Hold on to that. So you just loading up, loading up, loading up, loading up, loading up. Next block, load up, load up. Friend's house, dump, load up, keep going. The up and down, out, around. And I appreciate all the families that are out there and like, hey, we got hot cocoa. Hey, we got wine. Hey, we have a beer. Hey, blah blah. And that's awesome. That's totally awesome. Everybody has a good time with it. Um, but again, in life, surrounding yourself with people who are, like kind of sort of around the same page as you. Challenge yourself. But a personal story, right? Let's take the kids out. Let's go trick or treating. Let's go to the park. Let's do whatever. Blah blah blah. Cool, awesome. Let's go. Rock and roll. Doing this, doing that. Blah blah blah. I mean, I love it. All about it. But like when it gets to like hour number like 2, and people are still like jacked up and ready to go with it, and you're kind of like, how do I say in a polite way that we've kind of all reached our threshold and it's time to go without really offending anybody? Because honestly, like outside of these little opportunity moments in your life, like you're around your neighbors, you might couple minutes see them here and there, but there's like that awkwardness of like, how do I remove myself from this? Not look like a butthead, but I gotta cut them off. I've got to cut them off. We went the one time. I was like, oh yeah, we're going together. Blah 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 blah. Brand new place. Don't know anybody. I look up, gone. I'm like, all right, well I guess I'm just gonna be by myself. They took off, did their thing, did a 25 minutes later, coming around the corner, they're coming around the corner, the kids like, "Ah," run back together. I'm like, "Oh, yeah, we did this way, went that way, blah, 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 blah." I was like, "Mhm, okay, that's cool." And then, like, picked right back up and went on. You can do that in life, right? I mean, people come in our lives, people come around, da, 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 da. But I know we're just kind of like shooting the shit today. So like I said, super excited to, T minus like 2 hours to get over there, and they're done with school and they're gonna be all jacked up. It's like, get in, get out of your uniform, wash your hands, have a snack, go to the bathroom, blah 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 blah. Put on your costume, and they're waiting, like they're waiting. I think they said like 3 to 7 in most of the neighborhoods tonight. They want it done really before dusk, which makes sense, especially in the city. But they're supposed to have like a sprinkle of rain like around 4. So like 3 to 4, they said like a little bit of rain in the area, and then there's a window from like 4:15, 4:30 to like 7, like right before the Phillies game starts. And then there's supposed to be some rain for, let me bring it up here. There's supposed to be rain for the Phillies a little later tonight between basically from 8 o'clock all the way to midnight. And it's supposed to be pretty steady. 34%, 55%, 70%, 68%, 75%. That's from 8 o'clock to midnight. So are they going to play tonight? I don't know. I know MLB wants to get it in. He wants to move along with the schedule primarily so they can keep the potential weekend series set up. Um, I said Phillies in 5. Um, I think it was super, super important that they won game 1. Game 2, I think there was just so much expended over the first game. Not necessarily with the pitching, but like just that mentality of battling back, battling back, battling back, battling back. And Schwarber just missed on a home run, would have made it closer. Kudos to Houston. Out of all of their pitchers, all of them, I wasn't scared of Verlander because I knew Verlander's track record. I mean, he was good, respected him, but Verlander's not the same Verlander, not the same Verlander. It's like Kershaw, right? McCullers, I'm a little worried about McCullers because lefty, but Framber Valdez all year, he has been super duper consistent. And I always like follow their little baseball for pitchers, especially like their outings, right? So Valdez coming into the playoffs, he had 2 or 3 games in his last like 7 or 8 starts that were sort of, they weren't sketchy, but it wasn't the best Valdez. So it's like, as a pitcher, you kind of like, you get that and you get it out of your system. Conversely, you look at the Phillies and it's like, Wheeler was due for a shit game. Nola was due for a shit game. Brand new stage. And look, I mean, Ranger Suarez, right? Cool as a cucumber. Cool as a cucumber. And even Robertson for his crazy ass inning, still, the experience in that situation, just give me the ball, let me throw it. Give me the ball, let me throw it. So I'm not going to go on super duper long today. This was just really quick. I actually got to get my costuming stuff, finished getting together. Hopefully, this plays into my character that will be. And yeah, just an exciting day. We'll see what happens with the Phillies. Eagles, just keep rolling. Just keep on rolling. I spent it watching with amazing set of football fans, family. Had a great time with it. They're doing something special, but I think even the conversation that we had during the game was that Dallas is right there behind them. Same thing with the Giants. Even though the Giants lost, I mean, it's like those teams are right there, and one little slip up from Philadelphia, these other teams are gonna sneak back in. It always works that way. It's like anytime you expect them to be above and beyond, there's always somebody at your heels, which is good because it's going to push them and keep them focused on doing, what they need to do, in order to execute. And this week too, it's a short week. Got to go to Houston, playing the Texans on Thursday. We don't know how the schedule is going to coincide with the Philadelphia game, especially now that there may be a day moved ahead because of this weather that's coming. So Tuesday here, tomorrow, supposed to be great. 69 and clear. Wednesday, clear. Thursday, clear. Friday, clear. Saturday, Sunday, be back in Houston anyway. Totally clear. But today, 48, 50% chance of rain for the remainder of the day. Good that it's a bullpen game because, maybe give the other guys a little bit of rest, maybe retool. I don't expect Wheeler, especially, to come back out and have the issues that he had. I think it was you, Brian, the chat on Tony's show mentioned something about, maybe it's a good extra day to start Nola first because, Wheeler did take that comebacker and maybe, just maybe, there was a little bit of a nick or something that was going on there. And maybe you saw it in his performance. I know he wasn't extending his normal, 6, 7 feet that he normally comes off the mound with, but yeah, it was interesting. I'm very happy with the split. I'm very happy that they won the first game. I figured if they were going to win a game in Houston, it had to be the first game. And I'm extremely happy that although it put a little more pressure on the bullpen, that Thompson went for it. I think there's always those moments where you look back at the game, you look back at a series, and you're like, it's right there, and I'm either going to take the shot or I've got 6 more games to play this out. Knowing the team, though, good press, good time to get it, great time to go after it, phenomenal, phenomenal, phenomenal. The way that it played out, lots of momentum. I think even the guys, like I said, I think coming back, game two, they laid a lot on Wheeler, expecting him to be the Zach Wheeler of old. And yeah, it's nice. It's gonna be good. I mean, the energy at Citizens Bank was crazy. I was down at FanFest on Saturday for a couple hours before I did a fundraiser, and two things from that. So yeah, met all the normal guys, talked to them again. Anthony, sorry, Gargano, Kincaid. I know Zuli. Shout out to Zuli. A lot of the other guys got on the phone with Tony, and we let him to catch up with those guys, which was nice. I mean, it's always good to reconnect all of them, and who knows? Hopefully, we'll see a little bit of crossing the streams with those two guys, those three guys. But we did we did make a purchase. Now I can't take credit for this all myself. Uh, Walked in. I'm trying to get this into the picture. So they always have like all this artwork. They have all these signed lithographs, things like that. Check this out. I want to drop it. So this is the Jason Kelsey in his full mummers uniform costume signed, but underneath of it is the full speech that he gave on the day of the parade on the steps of the art museum. I looked at it, I saw it. She looked at it, she saw it. We were like, look at the price tag. We're like, is it worth it? Okay, yeah, it's worth it. So I mean, this bad boy. Once we finish our little Eagles cave, I got my Yinling bar sign. Got our Kelsey thing. We've got our Eagles. Stained glass. Brother-in-law does that. So I mean, it's like, but it was like couldn't pass on it. Just couldn't pass on it. I mean, it's like I said, it's the full speech signed. You know, it's got the authenticity sticker, tags, and all that kind of shit on it. But gingerly brought that home afterwards, and really, really good time, really awesome. And I think it's like our our uh, our message today, right? And then I'll leave with this. Sometimes you just have to take that opportunity and take that chance, right? It might not work out, you know, the best. It might work out fantastic. Be grateful. Be appreciative. Really, seriously, there's shit to count in your blessings. There's shit to like acknowledge in everything that's going on. And when you clear your mind of all of that noise, put everything in perspective, your time here, our time here is so finite. It really is. You know, there's all these Bible verses, there's all of these ancient Eastern philosophies, stuff passed down from the Sumerians, and it's all written different ways, but it basically says, you know, you're like a speck on this timeline of history. You think of all the billions of people. I mean, you could basically fit in a 4x4 little corner of your room in the world. You know, make good change, make good progress, make people around you happier, make yourself happier. Starts with just being you, like really being you. When you compromise too much of yourself, you are not reaching your full happiness and your full potential. That's not saying you shouldn't compromise. That's not saying you shouldn't work. That's saying that you shouldn't be prudent or be temperate about stuff. But if we're really happy and content with ourselves, then what sometimes people see on the outsides as being compromise or not value or less quantifiable or something that doesn't meet their own personal expectations, that's okay because you're where you are supposed to be. And sure, cost and compromise that comes along with that. But if you are being who you are, really being who you are, and you're living your life, handling your responsibilities, and on your own terms, then the right people will come in and out of your life. And when you're presented with those opportunities to engage with those people, do it. What is the worst thing that's going to happen? Challenge yourself to have a little fun, challenge yourself to think something differently, open up your mind, expand your horizon, different perspective. Fresh perspective is great. It really is great. I mean, it's it just allows you to see things, a different way. And even when things are completely horrible and completely awful, or they're not going the same way, and you're in your perseverance stage and you're working through and you're trying to get to this next step, believe me, 1,000,000% believe me. And this is where, gratitude's the best attitude really comes in. And it does. I mean, it takes 2 seconds to sit there and say, you know what? Pick a person, a name, an entity, whatever, thank you for whatever. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to wake up and do what I love. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to have another day. Things aren't always great. Things aren't always the best, but at least you're here, have an opportunity to do it because there is always, circumstances aside, there is always someone somewhere who is in a far worse position than you are. And you might be the person who affects them and gives them an opportunity to bring themselves up and bring themselves out. And it's easy, man. It's like smile at someone, wave, say hello, hold a door. I mean, I know we joke about Philly and all that kind of crap, but even today, I mean, the minute we stop doing that, it is going to get worse. People aren't going to talk. They're not going to communicate. They're not going to be on the same page. They're not going to be willing to listen or understand. And that's all you can really ask for, right? Just hear me out. Just hear me out. Not asking you to change your opinion, not asking you to do anything special for me, but at least give me the value of having the conversation. At least giving me the respect of hearing what my passion, what my conviction, what my love, what my frustrations are. Sometimes that's all it takes. Really, sometimes that is all it takes. And someone sit there and say, I'm not living your life, but I can completely empathize what you're going through. And we're going to get there. And someone to share your joys, someone to share all the fun stuff. It's wonderful, man. It's absolutely, absolutely wonderful. Starts with us, starts with you. Take a minute, be grateful, be thankful, take a deep breath. My kids watch this thing, it was JoJo Circus. And I say it constantly to myself outside the Daniel Tiger stuff. And JoJo, anytime he would get frustrated, uh, the narrator or his little sidekick, whatever it was, would always remind him, say, "Take a JoJo breath, take a JoJo breath," and the clown like, basically count to four, count to five for yourself, whatever it is. But yeah, man, it's all right. So tonight, when the kids are walking on the lawn, when they're all coming in from all over the place, I'm gonna be like, remember what JD and Brian said. Remember what JD and Brian said. It's all right. Share the love, share the peace. Afterwards, we can go out and clean stuff off. Just don't walk through the wires. Not playing any homeowner stuff. All right, guys. Enjoy your Halloween. We'll recap. Quick candy admission, I guess. Everybody's like, top three, top five. Reese's, in no particular order, because I eat candy by moods, and I'm not really I'm not one of those guys that has like the candy jar or the candy's like stocked up. I've got biscotti. I've got cookie, like hard cookies, because with the coffee, of course. Dunkin'. Swedish fish. I think they're like next to, because I can't find those red hot dollars anymore. Right? It used to be like red hot dollars when we were kids. They go like the penny store or the nickel store. They had all these jars. And you just reach in and get a bag, 3 or 4 pennies, whatnot, because they did by weight. The Swedish fish, yes, red hot dollars, but not the cinnamon ones, like the sweet ones. So Swedish fish replaced that. I love Reese's peanut butter cups. I think they are quite possibly, the greatest candy ever created. I haven't tried the dark chocolate one yet, but that's my next one. I love dark chocolate. I just love dark chocolate. So anything in that area, in that genre, if the kids come across, yeah, yeah, right, yes, yes, yeah, the pretzel one, yes. Anytime you can do salty and sweet together with a little like texture, phenomenal. Because there's always, I mean, no judgment, no judgment, but you would walk around and you'd hate getting like the Brock's candy. You get like the off brand of like the peanut butter cups. It's like, I know, I know. And listen, everybody means grateful for it, appreciative of it. But like as a kid, you're like, oh man, I got like, the level two kind of candy here. It's like that's not a Reese's peanut butter cup. That's a whatever it is. But anyway, guys, enjoy Halloween. We'll post some pictures. We'll get out there. Everybody enjoy your evening. Phillies, hopefully it gets done tonight. I just think there's going to be way too much energy at the bank. I'm going Phillies winning tonight. Both of us. Oh, yeah, exactly. That's what we hit to. That's the other thing too. Brian's making a great point. If you have this candy prior to Halloween, very important that maybe on the day of you put it within sight, because what happens is like you graze, you're like, they're not gonna miss one, they're not gonna miss two, and really, I mean, fun size. Never liked it as a kid. Completely understand it as an adult, especially if you got nieces, nephews, and kids. I mean, you turn around, you hand somebody a full-on Twix bar, full-on like Hershey bar, full-on Snickers bar. You know, start eating like 3 or 4 of them in a night. You have some belly aches by the time you're done. All right, folks, have a good day. Thanks for joining. Little casual potpourri going on today. Phillies, I'm saying 5. Wouldn't be surprised if it's 6. Just like the Braves, need to take 2 at home. Game 3 essential. Got to get the first one. Hopefully, then the 2 big guys come back and we lock it down. Maybe the gods will play nice with us, and we'll get a little spritz, and it'll bump it out. We get one more day rest. Could happen. It could happen. It could only happen. There was a soulmate would try to give us food. Oh, I know. Yeah, I know. That's to all you, and yeah, listen, to all you candy corn apologists out there. I finally saw the video where if you stack them into each other, it actually looks like a thing of corn by the time you're done. I never knew that for like 3 years ago, 3 years ago. I just I don't know what the fascination is with candy corn. I really don't. It has to be the most like visually visually appealing. It has to be taste wise though. No, I just go get a thing of sugar. Just scoop a thing of sugar and be done. Yeah. So yeah, apparently if you take the candy corns and you put them, point to point, you can actually stack them up. Now I think the person who did it, they used like little bits of glue to kind of hold it on place, but I guess that's the trick with it. Hey, YouTube it or something. All right, guys, we'll see you later. I'll let you know how Halloween goes. Stay off my lawn. All right, guys.